the Wartales.
What's up, folks? Welcome to 10 more things I wish I knew before playing Wartales. It's been quite a while since we did one of these kind of videos, and Wartales has come a long way since then. We've got pirates, taverns, and the pits, with more new DLC on the horizon. With so much content, it is easy to get overwhelmed with a game like this. What I've got here are a few more fundamentals that will hopefully help you lead the most feared and powerful mercenaries known to man. There's nothing terribly groundbreaking here, but I believe it's knowledge that most players will find useful. Alright, coming in at number 10 is the painfully obvious cooking recipes. Now, when I first started playing this game, I saw bread being super cheap and readily available, the ingredients that is. So my thinking was, well, the troop is just going to eat bread all day long, every day. We're never going to go hungry, and we're going to be super rich. Not realizing that there are so many excellent recipes, especially starting off. Apple pancake is a great one to get early on. So is stuffed cabbage, eel soup if you're going heavy on the archers or the pugilists. Very useful. Porridge is gonna be great all day long. Candied fruit if you want to get your influence rolling in via happiness, as another useful one. Pork stew has its uses, gives you a little bit more valor points. Cabbage perch gives you that run duration speed if you want to outrun the guard. Mutton stew, a little bit of strength. There are so many excellent recipes. It just adds another layer to the game. Not to mention, you've got trade recipes. There's recipes for everything in this game. Mead pike, seed sausage, and then we start getting into the feasts. It's wow. It just, how can you go without the food? So finding the right foods, making optimum use of the food, making sure you have the right recipes for the composition of the group that you have, and just taking advantage of those. It's a no-brainer, but definitely worth mentioning. Go out, seek those good recipes, and yeah, make use of them. And with the tavern, the addition of the tavern, you do have the option to steal recipes from opposing taverns as well. From rival taverns, you can send your cooks to steal recipes. So there's no reason why you shouldn't be making use of this. Like I said, blatantly obvious, but yeah, find those recipes and make use of them. Maybe we'll do a follow-up video, some of the recipe locations of some of my favorites, especially for early on. All right, moving on. Coming in at number 9 is oils not being permanent. Now, before we discuss this in a little bit of detail, I do want to make an honorable mention here for the herbarium. This is something that I very often overlook in my campaigns, and I just plain out forget to do, or didn't even realize initially that this was an item as useful as it is. The herbarium, pretty much the first thing you want to craft as your apothecary, is one of these bad boys, and gives you a chance to retrieve part of the resources used in alchemy. So just a little honorable mention there. Don't forget your herbariums, guys. Probably you'll only ever need to craft one of them in your campaign, provided your apothecary doesn't get killed. But yeah, just something worth mentioning there. Now, oils not being permanent. So when I initially started playing this game, I don't want to commit to an oil, especially on my legendary weapons, because I can't, I won't be able to take it off. But this is, I don't know where I got that idea from, but it's completely wrong, completely off. You can switch oils, and making use of oils is just such an important part of the game. It gives you that edge that you really want to take advantage of in all of your fights, and then getting the right oils on the right weapons and characters, and just making a synergy within your group is just so valuable in combat. Basically, you just apply to the weapon, and then you can choose which one of the oils to take off, and then boom, you've applied the new oil. So guys, make sure you're taking advantage of your oils. Clear out those rat nests and get yourselves some oils. Some of my favorite ones, the Braves oil. This one is we're going to talk about Valor a little bit later on, but yeah, this one is a Valor regenerating machine kind of thing. You've also got I believe sharpening oil, critical damage, that's nice. Alertness oil with the right equipment, this one can be really useful. Swiftness oil is not bad for your archers, things like that. But yeah, just make sure you're using your oils, guys. They're just they're so valuable. Number 8 is armor and weapon alterations. Now there's a couple things to talk about here. When I initially started playing this game, I thought to myself, why on earth would I ever purchase gear from the merchants? Because the gear from the merchants doesn't have any armor slots on it. If I just forge my own gear, I can automatically get those additional armor layers. So why would I ever purchase this gear? Well, you can alter the armor, and if you do a good job, you'll get all 3 layer spots, but if not, you'll get a couple of layer spots. But there's no limit to how many times you can make these alterations. Now, what's further is when you have a legendary weapon like Victorious here. So Victorious right now is a level 7 2-star axe. Now, all of your legendary weapons can be upgraded at the Brotherhood training ground, which increases the level of the weapon. However, they can also be altered up to 3 stars. So right now, Victorious only has 2 stars. If we manage to hit all 4 of our forging irons here, we will get that 3rd additional star. So there we go, Victorious. So just one of those things, you want to make sure that you're getting every little edge that you can, but be careful, don't waste your resources on weapons that are going to be replaced in the near future. You want to make sure you're doing your alterations on your valuable equipment and the equipment that's going to be around for quite a while, because it's a game of scarcity to some extent. At number 7, we have enemy party strength. Now, this is something that applies almost exclusively to adaptive region mode, because when you're playing on region locked exploration, the enemy strength will be dependent on what region you're in. So you have to pay attention to where you are, and the enemy groups will still scale a little bit with your party. However, it's nothing compared to adaptive, where when you're playing adaptive, basically the way that it works is the enemy will be usually around the same level, or maybe a level or 2 above whoever is the highest level member in the party. Now, this is a good example to show you guys how this works, because there is a little bit of nuance to it. I believe you'll have to forgive me if I get this a little bit wrong, because I'm still trying to figure out the exact particularities to this. But what I've noticed is that when you initiate a mission, for example, so we picked up the contract for Voltram the Tyrant. He just happens to be fighting these other bandits who are in the area as well. So when we initiated this contract, the highest level person in our group was level 4, and so the group that we've gotten is level 5. Now, if we were to leave this contract and come back to it much later, our group being, say, level 7 when we get back to it, he will still be at level 5. And I believe this works for the boss fights. I haven't tested out exactly. I remember I noticed this during one of my playthroughs. I ran from a boss fight and then I came back to do it later, and I noticed, hey, this guy is still at the same level that he was earlier. But in any case, so in the meantime from starting this contract, we recruited a couple of wolves in the party. And so the highest level of the wolves is level 5. So this is the first time we've encountered this group of bandits. And because of that, they are 2 levels above the highest level party member, which happens to be a wolf. Another thing to consider, in adaptive mode, it makes it a little bit tricky with animals, because oftentimes players will capture an animal, and the animal might be a couple of levels above the party member, above your party, and then all of a sudden you notice you're fighting fights where you've got guys well above your level, and just makes things much more difficult. But another thing to consider is that some animals count for more companions. For example, bears, I've been told, count for 1.5 the amount of companions. So the number of companions or enemies you're going to be facing will also be dependent on the girth, I guess, of your animal companions. So adaptive definitely makes it a little bit trickier for having groups of parties with animals, but it is still doable. For number 6, we have the recruitment cost of companions. So if we speak to Naleen here, we see that the recruitment cost is 340 influence and 612. Well, is there a way that we can get that down? Every time you recruit another party member, the price goes up. However, we can manage this a little bit if we leave a couple of companions at the trading post, and we go back and speak to our friend here.
My services aren't free.
So we've got it down a little bit. However, this is actually the first time I'm testing this, but if we go into the Samoan pub here, and if we go to staffing and transfer over some of our characters, will transfer over all but one. Obviously, this is not going to work quite as well if you're not in the same town as your Samoan pub, as your tavern. If you're not in the same town as your tavern, there will be a delay in transferring over the troops. I just happen to be in the same town right now as where the tavern is. But let's go back and speak to our friend Naleen.
My services aren't free,
and woo-wee, the recruitment cost is down even more. Certainly helps things along if you can transfer some troops over to your trading posts or throw them into the tavern. Makes it vastly cheaper to recruit new companions. So nothing crazy there, nothing groundbreaking, but definitely something that will save you some influence, because you will run into issues recruiting. Once your party gets to a certain size, recruiting new recruits always burns up a lot of influence, and influence is sort of the lifeblood of the game in a way. Coming in at number 5, we have a minor detail. However, it could potentially make a very big difference in your campaign, and that is the ship's hold has unlimited space. So this is something that you want to make use of, at least be aware of it. It's nothing too crazy. However, it's kind of like having a mobile trading post where you can store some goods if you like. I can definitely see a lot of different uses out of this. The only thing that's kind of unfortunate is that the ship, we can only access the Valerian and the Tiltran County right now. Hopefully, when the DLCs are added to the game, I'm not sure how many DLCs are planned for the future, but hopefully we'll be able to connect to some of the other provinces with the ship and just kind of use it as a base of operation. But definitely some uses. If you're wondering why I have so many useless armor and weapon in here, I'm just kind of trying to collect all of the different armor types and everything, because I kind of want to get an inventory of one of my campaigns. I just want to go through and just see if I can find and collect all of the different armor, so that I have like a little bit of an inventory of knowing what does what and which ones are my favorites. But in any case, yeah, ships hold unlimited space. Good to know. Number 4 is the key to survival and also to thriving in Wartales, and this of course is Valor. Like most turn-based combat games, what victory really comes down to is who gets to take the most actions, and the more valor you have, the more actions you get to take. So the first thing you want to do is learn how to use your galvanized troops and also your tactical orders on your lieutenants, your captain and your lieutenants. But aside from that, find every way possible you can to increase your valor. There's a lot of different ways that you can do that. Pork stew gives you additional a maximum for valor points, so it increases how many valor points you have available to use. Your strategy table, your tent are great ways to keep the valor coming in. You want to go into your fights well rested and with plenty of valor. One of the things that I've been doing is I've been escorting this Captain Hostess for ages now. He's one of the characters. Every once in a while you'll find a character who will follow you around. I think in the initial province there's a blacksmith. You pick him up over here. However, I wouldn't recommend keeping him in your party for too long, because he gets a lot of attention. There's folks chasing him, so the sooner you can drop him off, the better. However, when you come over to this province, there's 2 different characters that you can escort. There's a character at St. Elor Abbey, a monk that you can escort, and you don't have to necessarily complete his mission right away. Same thing with Captain Hostess here. I believe you pick him up at Count Lahart's castle, and same thing, you don't have to finish his mission right away. You can keep him in your party. He just uses up food, and he will sit in that tent for as long as you like and just collect valor for you. Just bonus valor basically for the cost of a little bit of food, keeping him fed. There's another character over here in Marheim, that the apothecary that you pick up, who will follow you around as well. So just nothing crazy there, but another way to gain valor. But what the real important thing is, just choosing the right skills for your characters and creating a synergy within your group that just keeps the valor rolling in as the fight goes on. If you want to win your fights, you want to keep your companions alive, make sure you have heaps of valor before going into battle, and make sure that you have ways to regenerate your valor as you're going through the battle. So understanding the valor system, hugely important to your campaign. Coming in at number 3 is repairing armor, healing, and inventory management before battles. Now, this is something that's very easy to overlook. It's also something that's very easy to forget to do, especially if you're in a hurry for a fight. But it's something that can be very, very useful, mainly because repairing armor straight after a fight is not always the most optimal way to go about things. It's much cheaper to repair armor in town, so you may or may not want to repair in between fights. But if you do get caught in a fight in between, you can just easily repair everyone's armor. You can also heal everyone up, easy peasy, and you can also make changes to your inventory. So this is something that's very useful, especially if you're using a lot of animals. A lot of times you'll have horseshoes or saddlebags on animals, but there are also collars that you can switch on to your friendly pets to make them a little bit more lethal. I just recruited these wolves, so I haven't had a chance to equip them with anything yet. However, that is an option. There's also options for switching out weapons with archers, especially. You might be going in against a particular type of opponent, and you've got lots of different options for bows. Some may be more or less useful, and then you can also switch in and out your accessories here as well, accessories and belt buckles. So definitely something you want to take advantage of. However, yeah, this is something that I feel like players forget to do sometime. I'm very much guilty of that myself, but it is extremely important to success. Get your troop geared up, healed up, repaired up before you go into a fight. All right, coming in at number 2 is time of day and the encounters that you will have with NPCs. What I've noticed, I may be crazy, I don't know, but it seems that during the day you will encounter more merchants, more guards, and things like that, and during night you will encounter more groups of bandits in general. Now, this could just be my imagination, I don't know, but this is something I noticed. It's the most apparent when you're traveling through Gothenburg, that it seems that in Gothenburg there's a little bit of a difference between who's out and about and things like that. So just something to note, what time of day it is, and just keep an eye on your clock, I guess, on your watch, and just be aware of what types of encounters you might have with the NPCs, and yeah, just be aware of where you are on the map. I believe the ghost packs as well is another thing. See, now as we get into dusk, let's see what happens when we get into the evening, if we start seeing more of the bandits, or maybe I'm just crazy. Maybe this is just something. But yeah, as dusk comes down, now we are into the night, so we've got bandits over there. Still have a lot of merchants out in the boat. I don't know. Maybe it's just my imagination. Oh, we've got bandits over there. I don't think it is. I don't think it is my imagination. Anyway, I don't know. Let me know, guys. Am I crazy? Or is it the case that time of day will have different NPCs spawning on the map? Coming in at number 1, this one's a bit embarrassing, and maybe you'll make use of it, maybe it won't, but when we got the Pirates of Valerian DLC, we got the new ship controls, and the ship, it controls in a way that you hold down the left click button, and then it's almost like the ship is on a string. You can pull it this way or that way, and yeah, pretty basic stuff, pretty fundamental stuff. However, unbeknownst to me, is that when you make landfall here, let's disembark, that you can do the same thing when you're on land. Hold, click, and move. Yeah, I had no idea. I had no clue that that was the case. I have been just clicking like a madman the whole time, when you can just move on a string. You can just point in the direction, so long as you hold down the left mouse button and just point in the direction that you want to go, and you're good as gold. But anyway, it's a little embarrassing on my part, guys. What are you gonna do? Anyway, I hope this was helpful for you folks. I know this last one was a little bit silly, but yeah, I don't know. This is my list for 10 more things I wish I knew before playing Wartales. Let me know what you guys think. What are some of the things that I missed? And what are some of the things that you think new players need to know before embarking on this epic journey? That is Wartales. Thank you so much for watching. Have yourselves a wonderful day, Otto.
I offer you a chance. Glory beckons you. Prove your worth, and the world below will be yours.